The 355th Infantry Regiment was one of the core infantry regiments of the United States Army's 90th Infantry Division, a formation that would become renowned during World War II under the nickname Tough Ombres. Across 2 world wars, the 355th Infantry Regiment demonstrated endurance, discipline, and a steady capacity to learn and adapt under fire. From the battlefields of France in 1918 to the hedgerows of Normandy and the final advance into Germany in 1945, the regiment's history mirrors the evolution of the modern American infantryman. World War I, birth of the regiment formation and training. The 355th Infantry Regiment was constituted in 1917 following the United States entry into World War I. Assigned to the newly formed 90th Infantry Division, the regiment drew heavily from draftees from Texas and Oklahoma, many of whom had never traveled far from home. Training was conducted primarily at Camp Travis, Texas, where soldiers were introduced to trench warfare doctrine, rifle and bayonet combat, machine gun coordination, gas defense, and field engineering. By the spring of 1918, the regiment had completed its training and prepared for overseas deployment. Combat in France. The 355th Infantry Regiment arrived in France in June 1918 and was integrated into the American Expeditionary Forces. After additional training alongside experienced Allied units, the regiment entered the front lines during the final months of the war. The St. Mihiel Offensive, the Meuse-Argonne Campaign. These operations exposed the regiment to sustained combat against entrenched German forces supported by heavy artillery and machine guns. Fighting was often conducted in difficult terrain under harsh conditions with significant casualties. Despite these challenges, the regiment performed effectively, contributing to the collapse of German resistance along the Western Front. Armistice and demobilization. Following the armistice of 11 November 1918, the regiment remained in Europe for occupation and administrative duties before returning to the United States in 1919. It was subsequently demobilized as the wartime army rapidly disbanded. Interwar period. Between World War I and World War II, the 355th Infantry Regiment existed primarily within the organized reserve. Though inactive, its lineage, honors, and administrative framework were preserved, ensuring the regiment could be reactivated quickly if needed. That moment arrived in 1942. World War II, reactivation and preparation, reactivation. The 355th Infantry Regiment was reactivated on 25 March 1942 as part of the reconstituted 90th Infantry Division. Training began at Camp Barkley, Texas, followed by extensive maneuvers across the United States. Training emphasized small unit leadership night operations, combined arms cooperation, offensive infantry tactics. As with many National Army-derived units, the regiment required time to forge cohesion among its new ranks. Deployment overseas. In March 1944, the regiment deployed to England, completing final preparations for combat. In June 1944, shortly after the Allied landings in Normandy, the 355th Infantry Regiment crossed to France and entered active combat. Normandy. Into the hedgerows. The regiment's first engagements occurred in the Normandy hedgerows, terrain that heavily favored the German defenders. Dense vegetation restricted movement, limited visibility, and neutralized armor support. Early fighting proved costly. German forces utilized camouflaged machine gun nests, mortar and artillery fire counterattacks from concealed positions. Although the regiment initially struggled, repeated engagements hardened its soldiers and junior leaders. Tactical adjustments and leadership changes improved effectiveness as the campaign progressed. Breakout and advance across France. Following Operation Cobra, the Allied breakout from Normandy, The 355th Infantry Regiment advanced rapidly across northern France. Combat shifted from static hedgerow fighting to mobile operations against German rearguards. The regiment liberated towns and villages, secured road junctions, captured prisoners and equipment. This phase tested endurance and logistics as much as combat skill, but the regiment maintained cohesion and momentum. Lorraine and the Saar campaigns. In late 1944, the regiment entered the Lorraine region and later the Saar, where German defenses once again solidified. Fighting reverted to slow, attritional warfare characterized by fortified villages, thick minefields, heavy artillery exchanges. The 355th Infantry Regiment conducted repeated assaults, often under poor weather conditions. Casualties mounted, but objectives were steadily achieved through disciplined infantry tactics and close coordination with supporting arms. The Ardennes and final operations. Battle of the Bulge. During the German Ardennes offensive in December 1944, the regiment helped stabilize threatened sectors and later participated in counteroffensive actions. Winter weather, shortages, and constant enemy pressure tested morale and endurance, but the line held. Into Germany. In early 1945, the regiment crossed into Germany, advancing toward the Rhine and deeper into enemy territory. Combat included river crossings, urban and village fighting, clearing fortified positions. As German resistance collapsed, the regiment transitioned to occupation and security duties. On 8 May 1945, Victory in Europe Day, the 355th Infantry Regiment stood victorious on German soil. Post-World War II service. Following the end of the war, the 355th Infantry Regiment was inactivated in late 1945 as part of the Army's rapid demobilization. Its lineage was later maintained within the Army Reserve, preserving its honors and history. As the U.S. Army reorganized during the Cold War and moved away from traditional regimental structures, the regiment was eventually fully inactivated, its legacy retained in official Army records. The 355th Infantry Regiment exemplified the resilience of the American infantry. From the closing battles of World War I to the decisive campaigns of World War II, the regiment evolved through experience, hardship, and determination. As part of the 90th Infantry Division, the regiment earned its place among the tough Ombres, contributing materially to Allied victory in Europe. Its story is one of citizen soldiers forged into professionals by combat, men who endured, adapted, and prevailed.